Peace. This is the Ask Your Old Head podcast with Justice Raji. Today, it's a very special episode. I have with me my firstborn child. Freedom, how are you today?
I'm pretty good.
Welcome to the show, Freedom. Alrighty then. So how do you feel being interviewed for your first time on a podcast in your life?
I don't know. I mean, it's a little bit like I'm a little bit nervous because I've never done it before, and I gotta like think of stuff on the spot and try not to use a bunch of filler words. So,
Well, okay. I mean, I guess that could be an issue, filler words, but now we just get into it. So how's your day, son? How's life?
it was pretty good, but we didn't do a lot today.
Okay.
So,
So a little backstory. My son, he's my son. I've known him his whole life. There when he got here. Is that right, son?
yep.
Yep. And I made him do this today because he's my son, and I felt like it'd be appropriate and good for me to have a conversation with him, and bring him to the show. So we can do this a couple ways. I can maybe ask you some questions, and then maybe you'll have some questions for me, or we'll start talking about some things, and we'll move into it. I could take you into the same interview questions I would ask other men that I have on the show, and then see what happens from there. What's your thought?
Well, what's the difference in the questions?
The difference would be, I don't really know. There would be a big difference. It just would be the tone or the direction that we would start out. We could just go.
All right.
You know what I mean? Unless you got something you want to ask me off the top.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything.
Got the
right
old
now.
man here captive. You know what I'm saying? You could just ask questions.
And
All right, so let's go. I'll do what I do with other people. So based on what you know right now and what you understand, what do you think is an important part of being a man?
Confidence. Because if you believe in yourself, you can make it happen. And if you believe in yourself, then other people will believe you. So whatever you're trying to get done, it's going to work out.
Is there a story, any way you could share around how you came to understand that for yourself?
Well, I think basically freshman year, I was kind of quiet, and I don't think I had a lot of confidence in myself to like talk with people in my school, because I kind of just stuck to the people that I already knew. And then this year, I would just faked it till I made it, and then I actually made it, and now I'm like a lot more confident in myself from faking that I was confident in myself, and then it like kind of, I don't know, I'm not really sure how to explain it.
Okay. So you brought up something interesting, because the idea of faking it till you make it, which is it's a fun phrase, and it's a phrase I've said before, and some people are more critical of the idea than others. How do you know the difference between faking it till you make it and or trusting that maybe you're doing the right thing but not being sure? Like, is there a difference between those things?
I think faking it to make it is just like an easy way to say that, but it doesn't really, like what you just said was a more correct definition of it. But when people say faking it till you make it, like sometimes they really are faking it, or sometimes they just aren't sure of themselves, but they're doing the right thing to get to where they want to be. So.
Okay. Cool. So what would you say at this point are there any major things that you do differently than you used to do them that you think has made just your days or the world a little better for you right now, related to the above?
I think one thing I do is I don't really stress about if I'm going to mess up, because that's one thing I used to really stress about, is like if I was talking to somebody, I don't know, for some reason I would like stress out about saying something weird, but like stressing out about saying something weird made me not want to talk to people, and then that would in turn make it, harder for me to be used to just being comfortable talking to people that I wasn't already comfortable with. So I think that was a big one right there.
Okay. Good answer. Thank you. So the next question that I typically ask is, this one to be a little bit less of a big. I don't know. We'll see how you. So I usually ask at this point after that question, and saying thank you for sharing. I will ask, relationships broadly defined. What's something that you understand now better than you did when you were younger?
That's a good question actually. I gotta think about that one. I think one thing that I learned was that it's more of a relationships are more like you don't just you can't just always just give and expect a relationship to happen, if that makes sense. Like it has to be two people coming together. It can't just be one person and then that's it, So if, the other person is not really, help doing what they got to do to keep it going. And it doesn't have to be like a romantic relationship. It could just be a regular, friendship or whatever. And if, that person isn't really there to help you out or isn't really listening to you, but you're doing that for them, then it's not really a good relationship. Or the other side of that would be if they were like being constantly negative towards you, and you were, that wouldn't be a really good relationship either, because you're not gaining anything from it, and they're kind of just being negative, so no one's really gaining. And I guess I worked my way to a better point, which is that in a good relationship, both of the people in it gain from that relationship.
All right. Man, where'd you learn that? Did I teach you that?
Whatever.
I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm saying. I mean, I'm trying as a parent to do good things. I like what I'm hearing, though.
Maybe.
All right. You can give Pops a little love on that one.
Yeah, I get
a little bit.
A little bit.
Good job by me. Good job by me. Pat my own self on the back. No, but that's a good point, son, because being present for people or trying to connect with people, and I've talked to you about this, is that you try to be present for people that you already connect with, or or they're your friends, and you try to kick it with them, or and that sometimes people change, or whatever's going on in their life changes, and maybe you just don't, maybe they're not responding the same way that they used to, or maybe you become aware that maybe they were never responding the way you thought in the first place. You know what I mean? And that's always challenging, as they say. Cool. Thank you, son. So, the third question I ask all my interviewees, all my guests, is what's really important to you right now in your life? What's real important to freedom right now?
Probably people, I guess. I realized over the winter that part of I was kind of in a bit of a slump, and part of it I feel like was just not being around other people enough, because during the summer and the fall I have been hanging out with my friends a lot, and then all of a sudden it was too cold, so we didn't really do a lot, and then so my life was just like going to school, and then I would see my friends there, but we don't always have the same classes and whatnot, so it's not like a given that I see them, and then I get home, and then I just do my homework and then play video games, and then that was it. But like there was a big piece missing to like what I was doing, and that was definitely like other people. So
okay. So what are creative ways that we can hang out or be with people? Like how do we go about that? What do you think are strategies?
You just gotta ask. You gotta talk to people more. I guess it's not always like there's an opportunity available, but you can definitely seek out like clubs and stuff. Although I'm not really the person to be in clubs and whatnot, but
Yeah, yeah,
you could,
yeah.
you,
Don't let him fool
one can
you.
do that if one wants
There's
to.
been some coaching and some motivation to around that with one individual in this conversation. Who? So
Oh,
go.
actually, one other thing is important to me is it's not making music, but it's the fact that I have something to like put creative energy into. That's really important because I think something to have like focus on definitely helps like fill that gap of like what I'm gonna do after I get home and whatnot. And also especially when I like finish a project or I like finish a beat and then send it out and then it get like Farrell likes it or whatever. Then that like feeling, that's a really good feeling. So that's definitely another one that I.
Okay. Yeah. So you've caught the music bug. I'm not bad at that. That's a good thing. I mean, I want you to continue to develop your skill and learn to express yourself. What do you think? What things do you think? What do you think would? No, here's a better question. Do you have at this point even a vision of sort of what you would want to, where you would want to go with some of your different creative interests? What are some of the things you're interested in too creatively?
So my interests are mostly music and like video and photography and that kind of stuff, like visual arts and art, or I guess music isn't a visual art, but it's kind of an art still. And like the vision for the future with that, I'm not really sure because nothing's guaranteed. I think I want to take the music somewhere beyond just being in the house and then sending stuff out every once in a while, but I'm not really decided on what the path is for that. And then for making videos and editing and stuff, I think that's a skill that will be important in my life, but I don't know if that's a job I want to do because I've seen a lot of the professional editors and they spend like hours just on the computer editing. And I've done the same thing before, but I don't think I could every day come to work and then just sit at a computer and edit every day because that's like it gets mind numbing after a while.
Yeah, but
So
I mean, you could also, well, maybe what do you think if whatever the video or whatever you were putting together, if it was something that you were passionate about, do you think you would feel differently?
yeah, I definitely would, but I don't know where I would find that passion. Like I definitely like if I found a story that I really wanted to put into video, or if I just had like a video that I wanted to make, then I definitely would put in the time. But I think because a lot of like the editing jobs I've seen are in like studios and stuff, and so what I wanted to make wouldn't always be the priority.
Yeah.
So
But
I'm
you
not
also,
really sure what would happen with that.
I mean, you could also be editing your own thing,
That's true.
right? Am I wrong?
That's true. But
Okay.
I'm thinking like long term because I think like after college and whatnot, I want to go somewhere more on the business side,
Mm-hmm.
but not necessarily like the grimy like accounting and stuff. Like I want to actually run the business because what I really like doing is, um, I don't know, like working with people in groups, especially. I like group projects and stuff,
Okay.
and I don't know. That's where I want to go with it. But I just have to figure out how I'm going to take these creative things and make my way to that point.
Well, I mean, I won't go through. This is not. Well, this is going to be at some point me answering questions too, but I'm not going to volunteer answers on that. I'm just going to accept it. Thank you for your feedback. So, we are at our home. So I want you to look around the room and ask yourself, is there anything in here that you are curious about? This is an audio medium, so don't take too much time.
Well, yeah, I know.
Yeah, we gotta keep. We don't want dead air. Not that that's a bad thing. It's a podcast. I can do what I want. It's my show.
Maybe the camera. That's the big.
So, what's your question? What would be your question?
What's the story behind it? Like, is it from the? Oh wait, I gotta be on this side.
Yeah,
is it
see, mic discipline, learning every day. All right. Well, that camera and the camera that Freedom is speaking about, or where does it come from, is a Vivitar 220/SL, I guess. Actually, that camera is that camera was my aunt's, not not my aunt by like blood, but your grandmother, my mother's, one of her best friends who passed in a car accident. That was her camera, and I guess I don't know that she left it or it ended up with my mom, and it was in our house for a long time, and there was something wrong with it, needed some work. And I like photography and taking pictures, as you know, and I way back in 1996-ish, somewhere around there, 95 maybe, I moving into my first apartment or whatever, house with your uncles, I wanted to get a better camera. I had like one, I didn't have really a decent camera, and then I had like point and shoot, disposable cameras, stuff like that. This was the 90s before digital cameras were like really a thing. And so I knew the camera's home, and I talked to your grandmother, my mother, and I said, can I take this camera and find out what's up with it? So I actually took it to a camera shop downtown in Pittsburgh and had them check it out. And I spent $120 I really didn't have to get it fixed. And I started taking pictures. It's an old 35 millimeter. It's a nice camera. I'm actually going to load it up with some black and white and start walking around and just taking pictures here and there with it. But a lot of the pictures that you've seen of me and your uncles doing music or other stuff from that time, I took with that camera. It's a nice camera. I don't know how nice a camera it is in the world of cameras, but it's, so to me, it has the dual value of one. It was something that was my aunt's and someone that I love, and then also something that I was able to sort of reclaim and get to work and start expressing my own creativity with. We can load it up one day and go out do some shooting with it, see what we get.
No, I've been wanting to go to Portland and take pictures. So.
Yeah. You say Portland like it's going to Mars or something.
Well, no, it seems like it because we ain't gone yet to take pictures. So
well, hold
if
up.
Portland was
No.
But if Portland was right there, it would be a lot easier.
It's not that far. Why? This is going. We're gonna have a father-son moment on tape right now. Why do you think we haven't gone and just took pictures like in downtown or on the waterfront?
Because
who needs to initiate?
No, what I'm saying is it is farther away than if it was like down the street. Oh yeah, I gotta be like.
Yeah, you gotta stay focused.
Okay, so it's gotta be like down the block. Then it'd be a lot quicker to get there, and therefore it would be a lot easier of a task.
Yeah. But I mean, if you wanna, we can go out and take pictures. Any day you want to go take pictures, if you say something, planning, right? Yeah, that's what we always talk about, right? Planning, initiative.
Yeah,
cool beans. I go pressure. It's all good. I love you, son. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's where that camera comes from. And I've taken some pretty good pictures with that camera. The fun thing about doing, old school regular film camera is you don't know what you got till you develop them.
Well, what if it's all blurry though?
Then you just be disappointed and hope that you did it. That's where technical.
Well, that doesn't seem that fun. If you take all these pictures and they're blurry.
I mean, all of them won't be blurry. You just may have some that are blurry, and if you at least are, do the right thing and are patient, um, you'll do pretty good for the most part. It makes it a lot more interesting though from a creative standpoint because you can't wait. I mean, I also try to do, if you see, we usually when I take my pictures, even with my digital camera, I might look a little bit just to make sure something took a picture, but I don't really like to sit there and um, try to figure out if the picture's. You can't tell really if the picture's good or not by looking at the little screen on the back of the camera.
That's true.
You gotta wait till you get home and see it.
Yeah.
But it's even more so when you're dealing with real film because you can't see anything till you develop it. So that's yeah, that's where that's from. All right, cool. More questions. You have any other questions? Interests, thoughts?
I don't know. I can't think of anything right now.
So why? Yeah, I got a question. Nah, I'm not gonna do that to you. So summer's coming up. School year's almost over. What would be something that you think you'd like to experience or happen for you this summer?
Get a job.
Get a job.
Yeah.
What kind of job?
I don't know yet, to be honest. Everyone has told me not to go work at fast food or something because it sucks. But like, I feel like if that's the job that I got, then I'm gonna have to take it because it's not like I got other options. So, but if I do have other options, I'm definitely gonna take it over the fast food job. But I don't know.
Well, you have other options if you look for options.
That's true.
The challenging thing, and I worked lots of fast food. That's my first jobs. Well, not my first job, but first jobs. Most of them were in fast food or food service of some kind. Is these days it's a lot harder for teenagers to get those jobs because there's adults trying to get those jobs too. So some places, unless they just like you, I mean, you can find a job if you want one. That's for sure. And you earn money. The thing that I always what's the thing that I usually say to you about looking for jobs?
Some like
you retained.
You gotta like go to the place that you want to learn about or something, and then if you come there enough, they might, or even if they don't pay you, if you go there enough, they might just hire you to keep you around if they like you.
Yeah.
So
and that I don't want you to. I want you to not assume that there's not other type of work that you might be able to get access to if you ask questions or if you're persistent.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. Whatever. All right. What else? Cool. So what book in here? I have books where my computer and the books live in our home in this little room. What book in here that you can see have you not read that you think maybe you should pick up and page through at least at some point or read, look around, or are you really curious about?
Maybe the. I don't know. Wait, hold on.
You can take a moment to look.
Yeah, I gotta look. You know what I'm saying? The girl.
What you got?
The Hood Health one is the first one I saw. I don't know, I think.
But that's a good one to read through because it's not like a book that you have to read cover to cover. You can just pick it up and read a short piece about something around health. That is the Hood Health Volumes 1 and 2, the Hood Health Handbook by Supreme Design Publishing. Peace to God. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what else?
Uh,
Pick something. No pressure. Don't feel like you can give a wrong answer, but remember the mic can't hear you.
Oh yeah. A Country of Cities.
That's a good one. You should pick that up. It's actually a piece that's about sort of the importance of cities, but from a design and development and perspective. And I just noticed something that I'm going to be grumpy about later. That's cool. You should grab it at some point. Let's see what else.
There's basketball one up there. I can't see what it says on the.
Oh, that's the book of basketball.
Oh,
Bill Simmons. It's a good book. Good basketball.
Wait, is Bill?
Bill Simmons is right for
Oh, never mind.
ESPN and some other stuff, and he has his own thing now.
Is he like? I thought he was Ben Simmons.
No, Ben Simmons is the basketball player.
Is he Bill Simmons'
No.
son? Oh, okay.
No.
Never mind.
No,
Well, I just got checked. You know what I'm saying?
that's funny, son.
Just
You're
wondering.
pretty funny for that. All right. What else? All right. So, what about me? Do you have any questions for me now, son? This is your moment. Put your
The
father.
moment?
This is your moment. You put your father on the spot, hot on tape.
Dang, man. I can't come up with any questions yet.
I don't know.
I gotta like think.
You gotta
know?
think. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll do another episode with me? Maybe we can have an episode you can sit and generate some questions, and then we can have an episode where you put me on the other side of the table. How about that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that'll be it. Well, anyway, I love you, son. That's right. Said that to all the people that ever listen to this. Is that okay? How do you feel about that?
I'm not that. It's not that. It's not bad.
I know. I'm just teasing you because that's normal for us, but for other people, it might be like, wow, he just did that.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how you gotta do it. Sometimes you gotta use voice modulation. So I'm whispering.
What's that mean?
Nothing. It's just different words, different ways of talking. That's all. All right. Well, with that, we're going to bring this episode to a close. So, as all things, son, what do we say when we leave and we're done? What do we?
Peace.
That's right. So this has been the Ask Your Old Head podcast with Justice Raji and my guest, my son Freedom. Thank you for listening. Peace.
Peace.